Science tells us that humans can't walk on water. OK, Jesus did it, but he was the Son of God, which gave him an unfair advantage. As for the rest of us, well, we have to obey the laws of physics. Even John Tickle. John can't walk on water because, like all humans, he's too big and heavy to be supported by surface tension and not buoyant enough to float.
But I can walk on custard.
But he can walk on custard.
First, let's empty the pool. This swimming pool takes 27,000 litres of liquid. That'll mean we'll need a lot of custard. So we need some heavy machinery on our side.
Nice, this is going to be fun.
Cement mixers and industrial bags of custard powder are the order of the day.
So, John, how are you going to walk on custard?
Well, I'm going to take advantage of the properties of custard itself.
Right.
It's what's called a non-Newtonian liquid.
Obviously.
Sometimes it has properties like a liquid, sometimes it has properties like a solid. When I walk across the custard, I'm going to be doing it very quickly and impacting the custard quite hard. And under those circumstances, when you apply pressure, it behaves like a solid, so I shouldn't sink.
So does this work with any custard, then?
As long as you've got corn flour or some other starchy material in it, it should work, yeah.
If you stop, then, you're not stressing it anymore.
Oh, I'm going to sink very slowly like a stone.
Into custard?
Yes.
You can't swim in custard?
Not really, I don't think so.
Good luck.
Thank you very much.
So John's confident. He trusts his science. The type of custard is important here. It needs to be corn flour based and hence starchy enough to have the qualities John expects. The custard our Brainiacs are making is more industrial than edible. You wouldn't want this served up on your rhubarb crumble. And we need a lot of it. A lot more than we actually ordered.
How much do we need?
Well, I've no idea. I mean, we were told we needed a certain amount. We've not even got
for 100 to 200.
Well, let's just get as much as we
They've had
can.
delivery today. Hello.
We probably need as much as you've got in stock. Thanks a lot. Bye-bye. Bye.
At last, the pool is full. The big moment has arrived.
Do you have a bit of a taste, yeah? Yes, not too sweet, but it's custard.
That is custard. All right, then. Well, if you're ready.
I am.
John Tickle, walk on the custard.
Thank you.
Custard. At rest, a liquid. On impact, a solid. Can it be true?
What happens when you stop walking about and you stand still? Because according to your theory, I would expect you to start to sink, as in fact you are. That's incredible. The moment you stop, you disappear. Oh, thank you very much. Look, in fact, let me show you. Look, there it is. You keep impacting it, it's solid, and the moment I stop, it's a liquid. It's custard. John, that is incredible, and that proves it. John Tickle can walk on custard. Well, here it is, one pool full of syrup, not something you see every day. I should point out the Brainiacs have been here all night filling it up, and they're just now topping it off. John, why do you want to do this?
Well, it's all in the name of science, Richard.
Right.
I believe that I can swim as fast in this pool full of syrup as I could in an equivalent pool full of water.
You see, that's stupid.
Well, it might sound stupid, Richard,
Yes.
but the question has been debated for years. Isaac Newton and his contemporary Christian Huygens were debating it back in the 17th century, when Isaac Newton was writing his seminal text, Principia Mathematica.
What, they were talking about pools full of syrup?
Absolutely. Newton thought that the speed of an object through a fluid would depend on the viscosity of that fluid. Huygens disagreed.
I still don't see why you want to swim through a pool full of syrup.
Well, I've got this theory that Huygens was right, at least for human-sized projectiles.
Which means?
Same speed through the syrup as in the water.
Rubbish. OK, well, before you do it, you want to try water.
Well, we've got to have a control experiment, obviously.
OK, now, you are quite tall, John.
Yes.
And I can't help but notice almost as tall, in fact, as the pool is far across. So how are you going to swim?
Well, what I've come up with is that I'll paddle around 3 times, you can time me on this watch, and then we'll compare the time that I have in the pool of water with the pool of syrup.
OK. Good luck.
I'm going to need it.
So here it is, your pool full of water. Should point out, we do have, rest assured, Brainiac lifeguard behind us.
Filling me with confidence.
Yeah. OK, are you ready for this?
Just about, yeah.
Stopwatch is ready. 3 laps, we'll be watching. In your own time, on you go. The water first, remember, this is our benchmark time.
Swim like a fish!
Go for it, John.
3, 2, 1, go.
Go. OK, we're away.
So, how could swimming in syrup be as fast as swimming in water? Well, when you swim through the water, you obviously have less resistance than you would with the syrup, so one would suppose that you could go faster. However, in syrup, though you do experience more drag, you can also generate more force forward with every stroke because you have more to push against. Huygens believed the two effects would cancel each other out.
28 seconds, well done, John. Out you get, let's get the steps in, have him out. 28 seconds, that's the time.
That's really
for
quite
what?
cold.
Yes, well, that doesn't matter. That's not part of the experiment. It's irrelevant. How you feeling?
Cream cracker.
Good. Take a breath. Take another breath. OK, syrup, here we go. Your pool of syrup awaits. See? In fact, you might as well have a quick taste before you get in. Nice?
Yeah, well, not nice, but it's syrup.
It's lovely. In you get. Your theory says this should be 28 seconds as well.
Yes, absolutely.
I think that's rubbish. We'll find out. In you get. Think what a moment this is for science. The first person to do this. Can you feel that viscosity?
Yes.
Viscosing?
Doubts now.
Good. It's your theory, mate. Right. On your own time.
Okay, and 3, 2, 1, go.
Well, it's all very well doing quadrilateral equations and fancy graphs, but science is frankly all bosh unless you actually go off and do it for real. And if Huygens and Newton had had half a brain between them, maybe they'd have worked that one out too.
Newton's an idiot!
Newton was a clever man. You can't disprove it.
John Tickle is rather lazily not even doing the full circles and is still failing rather miserably to get up to the same speed he got through the water.
Each stroke should be making more power.
Even given the fact that he's already done one rather tiring swim, he should really be going a lot faster than this if his rather stupid theory is to have any merit.
Keep going, John. Keep going. Keep going. You're nearly there.
As fast through syrup as you can through water?
There you go. On your feet.
No.
51 seconds. Come on, out you get. Now, just remind us, who was it that reckoned it would make no difference? Which scientist?
Huygens thought it wouldn't make any difference.
Huygens thought it would make no difference. Newton thought it would.
Yes.
Newton was right. 51 seconds. Get out.
I can hardly move.
The plain fact is that, like blood, syrup is thicker than water, so it's harder to swim in. Why am I not surprised?
So that theory was not entirely true then, it wasn't? What did it feel like?
Oh, it felt like I was swimming through concrete.
What happened to this extra power?
I don't know. 2 strokes in and I thought Huygens was an idiot. I'm never going to listen to anything that he's written again.
Well, if ever you meet him, sling him in a pool full of syrup. You know what it's like now. Well, that's final proof then. Thanks to John Tickle and our experiment, you can't swim as fast through syrup as you can through water.
Dear John, my great-grandfather on my mother's side was Belgian, which is probably why I've always enjoyed strong continental lager. But, despite my heritage, a night on the tramp juice always leads to a terrible hangover the following morning. Can you find out if there's anything I can do the night before to stop this happening? Thanks, Brian from Ipswich. Well, Brian, I suppose just not drinking in the first place is out of the question. But leave it to me, I'll do my best. Hangovers. Now, a hangover is just a combination of several symptoms. Splitting headache, sore throat, chapped lips. But they all basically share one thing in common, and that's dehydration. So, whatever I try and do to prevent the hangover, it's got to beat dehydration. I'm going to be comparing 3 different ways of beating a hangover, using some well-known preventative measures used before, during and after a drinking session. Obviously, this means that I'll be needing 3 different drinking sessions over 3 different nights, which is quite a lot of drinking. Oh well. Tonight I'm going to attempt to beat the hangover by consuming these before I even start drinking. It's a pint of milk and a kebab. The greasy lining should, in theory, reduce alcohol absorption into my bloodstream, therefore making me less drunk and less likely to get a hangover. To be on the safe side, I'll wash it down with milk for added stomach lining effect. It's all a bit weird, really. One way round. Should be going home and having a kip now, not settling down to 5 pints of strong lager. Nah. For scientific purposes, I'm going to drink the same amount of alcohol every night. Tonight, that's a hangover-inducing 5 pints of strong continental lager. It's an interesting experiment, though, and I'm going to enjoy it. Good health, gentlemen. When you have a drink, toxins work their way into the bloodstream, and these have to be broken down by the liver and kidneys. To do this requires water, which the liver and kidneys get by raiding the body's own fluid supplies. On top of this, alcohol is a diuretic, which is just a posh word for saying that it makes you wee a lot. Nice meeting you. Now remember, I'm doing all this drinking strictly in the name of science. Don't you be doing it. Drinking in large quantities is not big and not clever, so just don't. That's me well and truly sozzled. I'm off home to bed to see what the morning brings. Well, I've definitely had worse hangovers. It's fair to say I felt better in the morning. My mouth is dry, got a real headache going, and what makes it all worse is I can still taste last night's kebab. Overall then, I think I'm going to give this an 8 out of 10 of a hangover. So, kebabs and milk, a very poor preventative, leaving a whopping 8 of a hangover, along with a particularly unpleasant aftertaste. Now, where was I? Tonight, I'll be attempting to beat the hangover whilst I'm drinking. Now, last night I drank 5 pints of strong continental lager, whereas tonight I'll be drinking weak Australian lager. Now, normally I wouldn't do this, but it is for science. The thing is, to get the same amount of alcohol, I'll be drinking 6 pints instead of 5. Cheers. By having the same amount of alcohol, but drinking an extra pint, I am, in effect, drinking an extra pint of water, which hopefully will stop me feeling dehydrated tomorrow morning. Well, that's the theory. You know what? I actually do feel better than yesterday. Don't get me wrong, I feel rotten, but the headache's manageable, and at least I can't taste any kebab. Overall then, I'm ranking this hangover as a healthy but acceptable 6 out of 10. So, weak lager is a success, scoring just 6 on the hangover scale, a full 2 points weaker than yesterday's effort. Just one more night of drinking to go. It's the final night of drinking, and thank goodness I'm back on the strong continental lager. Tonight's preventative involves these: a pint of water and a couple of paracetamol. But these won't happen until just before I go to bed. So in the meantime, I've got to down 5 of these. Cheers. Now, you know what happens next. Home. But before I lay in the tender arms of sweet Lady Sleep, there's a certain painkiller and a pint of water to attend to. Cracking. We'll see you tomorrow. You know what? I think it worked. I actually feel okay. This hangover barely registers, so I'm scoring it no more than 2 out of 10. I'm going to get some breakfast. So there you go, Brian. Clearly, the answer to all your troubles is a painkiller and a pint of water. Then you'll be fighting fit to face the world. Happy drinking!
Here they are, the panel he has to face. First, they're going to interview Jeremy fully clothed. Then, they're going to get their kit off. They're going to give him a score on how well he does each time, and we'll see if he managed to perform better the second time when they're less dressed.
OK. They're ready for you.
Welcome, Mr. Brown.
Hi, pleased to meet you.
I'd like to take a seat. There's my colleagues.
We're also wiring Jeremy up to a heart monitor to get a reading for each part of the interview. So, best of luck, Jeremy.
Tell us a little bit about yourself, Mr. Brown.
Well, where would you like me to start? I could probably start with the school, or...
That'd be
OK. Right.
The thinking behind this theory is that if you can imagine your interviewers naked, then you'll feel that they are more human, as vulnerable as you feel, and therefore that you have nothing to fear from them. It's like if they've got everything on show, they're hardly likely to have a pop at you.
One of my jobs was to source a below-the-line marketing agency for one of their summer campaigns, so I kept...
So far, Jeremy's heart rate is quite high. He's usually 60, but already he's scaling 98. The nerves are starting to show.
And what sort of salary are you expecting?
I feel as though, you know, my time in the industry has warranted a pay rise, so, you know, I feel that I could be earning something like £21,000.
Well, the panel don't seem to be too impressed so far.
Well, thank you, Mr. Brown. Thanks very much. If you'd just like to go outside and we'll be with you in a little while.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nice to meet you.
Jeremy's heart rate averaged around 88 beats per minute over that part. But how do the interviewers rate his performance?
I didn't get the feeling that there's that sort of indication of responsibility.
We want the man to do the job. I mean, is he the man? Is he a person who can't settle down, you know, and get on with the job?
I did feel that, yeah.
So it's not looking good for Jeremy. But how well will he do in the second half of the interview? Now the clothes are coming off. Will he be less tongue-tied when he gets an eyeful of this lot?
OK. They're ready for you again, sir.
It's important that we get an accurate heart reading for Jeremy at the start of this part of the interview, so we haven't pre-warned him that his interviewers are now disrobed.
Oh, Mr. Brown, would you like to take a seat again there, please?
Yes.
Well, not bad so far. Jeremy seems to be taking this new situation in his stride. However, when his mouth opens, it all starts to unravel.
So, Mr. Brown, how do you get the best out of people?
How do I get the best out of people? How do I get out the best out of people? Right, yeah, in what situation? In a work situation?
Jeremy's heart rate also tells the story. He must calm down soon, or there could be a fatality.
Yeah, I've got to obviously take each individual as their own, and you've got to sort of...
It's not looking good for our theory.
Yeah, recently, I mean...
It seems that instead of making him more relaxed, he's actually finding it harder to concentrate with so much flesh
A
around.
bit better.
The mouth opens, but the brain fails to engage.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I really wouldn't mind that at all.
Would you mind filling in a health form?
Yeah, not at all.
Jeremy should now be feeling empowered, confident and capable. Instead, he appears to have turned into a gibbering mess.
Here.
He doesn't know where to put himself.
It would be nice
Yeah.
if you could just fill the details.
And how much notice would you need to give your present employer if you were offered the position?
Well, contractually, it's 1 month, but obviously that is negotiable if I get offered the job.
Ah, that's very good, very good. Well, thank you very much for coming in, Mr. Brown.
Well, thank you very much
We
for seeing me.
Appreciated it.
Thank you very much for seeing me. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate that. Cheers. Hopefully, speak to you soon.
Bye. Lovely. Bye.
It's all over. Our readings show that when the interviewers had their kit off, Jeremy's average heart rate was 27% higher than when they were clothed. He also visibly struggled more with bare bodies in front of him. So did the panel think he should get the
They're
job?
ready for you now.
Time to give him the bad news.
Oh, Mr. Brown, would you
yeah.
take a seat again?
Thank you very much.
Well, after a quite extensive interview, I have to say that the first part of the interview we scored you 5 out of 10.
Right.
And the second part was 3 out of 10.
Right.
So unfortunately, we won't be able to progress your application further. Thank you very much for coming.
Well, thank you very
So,
much for seeing
another theory bites the dust.
No, didn't get it.
Naked or clothed, if you're rubbish at being interviewed, you'll always be rubbish. 4 people, 4 diets. Who will have the whiffiest bottom burp?
My name is Aaron Kidd, and this week I've been mostly eating baked beans.
No one is in any doubt about the gas-inducing properties of the humble baked bean. Distinctive in both noise and volume of gas, hot or cold, beans will always be a front runner in this field.
My name is Nigel Brown, and this week I've been mostly drinking fizzy drinks.
Fizzy drinks are, of course, particularly good for range and propulsion. After all, there's no point in creating an air biscuit if no one's going to smell it.
My name is John Davis, and this week I've been mostly eating Brussels sprouts.
Sprouts are a bit of a dark horse, full of fibre and hard to digest. They'll ferment longer in the stomach and should have a strong presence.
My name is Yvonne Walsh, and this week I've been mostly eating eggs.
Eggs, of course, provide a lot of smell. Silent but deadly is the motif here, and they are assuredly long on flavour. Trumping on command is a great skill. However, not everyone can do it. So we're going to get those gases moving with the help of a yoga instructor. Relaxation is the key here, especially the muscles and sinews of the bowel area.
And just rock gently backwards and forwards. There's no need to be embarrassed because everything releases during yoga.
Yoga is, of course, particularly good at stimulating wind, as any yogi will attest. Together with the finest gas-inducing nourishment, it's just a matter of time before the wind will out.
Again, this is particularly good for relaxing the buttocks and the thighs. So really think about relaxing and letting everything go. OK, if everyone wants to close their eyes, and we're going to practice the full breathing.
And now we wait. We've asked our volunteers to signal with the raise of a hand when they feel there may be something about to happen. Ah, it appears that something is on the way. We've set up a separate area for our subjects to express themselves. Brainiac Joe arrived for work late 2 days last week, so we've made it his job to smell each trouser trumpet and give it a score out of 10. Farts are actually produced as a result of bacterial activity in the large intestine. When undigested food is fermented, it releases the gases nitrogen, carbon dioxide, oxygen, methane, and hydrogen sulfide. The last 3 are produced in quite small amounts, and it's the hydrogen sulfide which causes the smell. It's a rarely known fact that only 1 in 3 people actually produce methane in their bottom burps. It's also believed to be hereditary. Methane and oxygen are both inflammable, and as every schoolboy knows, they can produce quite an impressive jet of flame. It takes about 30 to 45 minutes for a trump to make its way from the large intestine to the bottom area. It's believed that people emit wind in both of its forms around 10 to 15 times a day.
OK, well done. That's the session over.
While our subjects go for a well-earned rest, it's time to get a considered judgment.
OK, so tell me about the first one, beans.
Beans, quite a slow start with the beans, not much longevity on the smell, but once it rose, it was quite a potent sting. Smelled a bit like a hermit's earmuff, if you know what I mean.
Hermit's earmuff? Yeah.
So,
what about the noise?
The noise, like a broken lawnmower engine. When you pull it out, it doesn't quite get there.
Interesting.
Yeah.
But did it get there? Did it get to the nose?
Eventually.
Not one to take home to meet the parents?
No.
OK. Tell me about farter number 2, eggs.
Eggs, yeah. Rancid. Sort of like sucking sick through a wet sock. not very nice at all, really.
And sulphur versus methane content?
Definitely a winner on the methane there.
Oh, methane positive?
Yeah.
Any noise? A small squeak?
Not much noise, no. Silent, but...
Silent but violent, perhaps.
That's right.
Tell me about faster number 3, sprouts.
Quite a hard-hitting, in-your-face smell. Thwack, if you know what I mean. You can proper smell that one.
Enough to ruin a nose?
Ruin a dinner party.
Interesting.
Yeah. Something I had to stand back.
Goodness.
Yeah.
Watch out at Christmas. And tell me about fizzy drinks.
It was one of those wet farts, really, but there wasn't much there. Sort of dripped down the leg, but it didn't rise, if you know what I mean.
Oh, a fader?
A fader, yeah.
Classic
definitely.
fader.
Yeah.
It's a bit of a damp squib for fizzy drinks.
Yeah. Bit of a no-no on that one.
Interesting.
Time's up, so which food is judged to have supplied the smelliest fart?
We have the results. Aaron Kidd,
Beans.
5. Yvonne Walsh,
Eggs.
8. John Davis,
Sprouts.
9. Nigel Brown,
Fizzy drinks.
3.
And there you go. It was nip and tuck all the way, but it's official. Sprouts produce the smelliest fart. We're putting 3 tapes to the test today. Masking tape, clear sticky tape, and parcel tape. Our method is simple. Take 1 specially built table and 1 Brainiac. Take 2 rolls of tape and affix Brainiac to table. Each roll is 66 metres long by 5 centimetres wide, which gives us a total sticky area of 3,300 square centimetres per roll, roughly the area of 10 full-size snooker tables. Masking tape is the cheapest of our sticky rolls, providing us with 27.3 square centimetres per penny, in case you were wondering. With both rolls applied, it's time to turn the table on our Brainiac. Now he is hanging face down, supported by nothing more than our 2 rolls of masking tape. We're timing to see how long the tape can hold our Brainiac in place. We didn't have to wait too long for our masking tape. It lasted 1 minute, 31 seconds. Now we're going to try some clear sticky tape. And because they are half the width of the other tapes, we're using twice the number of rolls, so that the surface area used is exactly the same. By the way, this stuff is the most expensive of the 3, giving us only 7.9 square centimetres per penny, compared with masking tape's bargain basement price of 27.3 pence per square centimetre. Some blokes fly all the way to Bangkok to experience this. Our Brainiac doesn't know how lucky he is, and it's all in the name of science. With all the tape applied, it was time to flip him over and start the clock. So far, so good, and the most expensive stuff seems to be doing a good job of holding our Brainiac to the board. 1:31 is the time to beat, and already the clear sticky tape has passed that, coming up to the 2-minute mark. It's an outstanding effort by the clear sticky tape, but the strain is starting to show. Not on our Brainiac. He looks quite relaxed. Well, he did. 2:33 the time, 61 seconds longer than the masking tape. The last in our test is your no-frills parcel tape. We've used the same amount of tape for each test, 6,600 square centimetres to be precise. That's roughly the area of 16 table tennis tables, and all of it is applied to our Brainiac to try and hold him firmly in position. Now, the current leader in this test is also the most expensive, costing 1p for every 7.9 square centimetres. This contender, however, is better value at 16.6 square centimetres per penny. With our Brainiac resembling a plastic mummy, it was time to turn him over and start the clock. 2:33 is the time to beat, but the parcel tape really started to demonstrate its stickiness as that mark was passed with ease. And the longer the test went on, the more bored our Brainiacs got. 5 minutes came and went, and still no sign of anything coming unstuck. With 10 minutes up and the parcel tape still holding on, 3 of our Brainiacs decided to grab a cuppa, happy in the knowledge that through their highly scientific experiment, they'd established that parcel tape is the stickiest commonly used household tape.